Oh, we've had a real drop in the temperature. The heater's on this morning. It is really nippy in here. Oh, I'll drop in the stages of painting that I've been through just to get here on the abstract work. I thought it might be a good idea to have a play with this down on the floor. I'll splat in some white paint. I've got just a bit of stick. I can just something you could almost do with your eyes closed. Let that dry. Oh. So I've got it up off the floor. I've pressed in some bubble wrap and I've got really carried away like you do when you get a bit of bubble paper out. So I'll let that dry, come back in. Well, I couldn't let it dry. I couldn't walk away from it. It's addictive. I used one of my letters to push in. I've put in some Liquitex acrylic ink and I'm just letting that run. I'm still turning the painting. I only used white, black, primary yellow, the grey ground. So black and white will give you mixes of a grey. The yellow with the black gives you a lovely, that green. I've been turning it, lots of turning. And then yesterday I thought I want to introduce something else. And I went in with a pale olive. I went in with pale olive. The other thing that I did, I found myself yesterday introducing tree shapes, and I thought, no, quickly bash them out because I wanted to try and make it trees and landscape. So it's really tricky, you know. Lots of people I always read think that abstract painting is easy. I don't think it's easy at all. It's quite claustrophobic, it's busy, and I want to create some space. And in my mind, I think that if I have a big shape, that will give me a sense of some space. Lots of scratching and scraping on this one this morning, and I've added in a little bit, well, I've added in quite a lot actually on that bottom section. It's really nice having the contrast of working on something that's got an element of reality about it, although it's a big stretch of my imagination, and the abstract. I've no worries about eradicating something that looks like a struggle, and I was having the biggest struggle. I do really enjoy painting and the fact that you can just shift it from one area to another just like that. It's fantastic to me. I'll go down and enjoy the warm house, I think, now. More tomorrow. All change. I decided to be bold this morning and put in some big shapes. Where I've put the paint down quite thickly, I've then tried to follow the line, cut the line through before the paint gets bone dry. So there's a kind of a tacky time when you can pull through quite nicely. Hi everyone. I decided I was so pleased with these two shapes, but this area up here didn't look to my eye as pleasing. So what I did, I actually photographed as it was, and then sat thinking about it last night. What I'll endeavour to do now is put something in that makes more sense to the eye. Thinking about shapes, I went back through some of my older sketchbooks looking for clues really. What's my go-to shape? It's a bit of a big backwards C. This kind of almost like that, a U or a magnet, that shape seems to be prevalent in a lot of back work. I'll have a little go and see if I can get something to work. While I've got the acrylic ink, I thought I'll just put something down on the, when it runs fast, and just let it get to a point, and then, woof, bring it back in another direction. Oh good, he's got some legs running. That might be quite nice. Let's put it up there. So again, that one's running quite quickly. Let's catch it. Gosh, that one's going so fast, he's going to hit the bottom. Right, we'll just have to let that one stay there. Acrylic ink is the best fun, especially when you can do it on a large sheet. I love that you don't know quite what you're going to get. It's quite exciting stuff. So I've put a little bit of ink on the abstract, and I'll take a photo and drop it in. I'll come in tomorrow, I'll take a photograph of it now and see how it looks, see how it feels. I've come in this morning and I thought I'll just rest the dry painting in the frame. I won't fix it in. My feeling is I've added in another element that perhaps wasn't needed. It's really tricky. It's really, really tricky. I think I'm stopping here. Famous last words. I don't know. At this point, I don't know. And my gut feeling is that I want to go again. I'm going to get another abstract canvas going. I might hang in the same colour palette. Last night I was watching on YouTube, it's a BBC series Matthew Collings. I'll drop the name and some details. There are 6 programmes on abstract art. I enjoy his presentation and hearing his thoughts on things. I came in this morning. I know one of the problems I'm having is working on that painting in isolation. I'm always happier when I've got several paintings. I've tried to work this week and concentrate solely on that. I have done other bits and pieces, but it feels like he's lonely, he hasn't got any friends. I've put down a washy ground on the small canvas and on this bigger one. I can't stress the importance, of having a board, some paperwork, large paperwork. This has no meaning, and therefore it can be so free. It can be just anything. It's just a lovely place to come to, just to try things out. So I quite liked that this morning. And in my mind, there's another little thought saying, why don't you isolate something on here and take that forward as a piece of abstract? That might help me with a direction on a piece of abstract work. The last thing I want to do is tighten up on something abstract. This morning, instead of saying, I don't know, I thought this morning, what do I know? Or do I know for sure? For sure, I know that I haven't got the desire to scratch the painting out completely, to scrap it. I know that I love the landscape section on the bottom. I know that I like the colour palette. So there are some things that I know. And yesterday, almost by chance really, I took it down to the dining room and bingo, it just worked in there. So I'll show you, I'll drop a photo in. I will still bring it back because it's not fixed into that frame, and I will work on some other paintings to go with. There's a bigger ornate frame. There are 2 big skinny ornates and that chunky one for the abstract. On the 2 skinnier, I thought to myself, that is probably about the right size for the bathroom. If you remember the week before last, or even before then, I mentioned having the idea to paint the sink. And I've still got that idea, and I've been playing around in Sketchbook. And I had the crazy idea this morning of taking this great big board up to the bathroom and trying to charcoal and film, and it didn't happen. Oh golly. And then, just as I came out to bring it back up here, I mean, I don't know if the camera is going to pick any of that up. It's running. It's pouring down outside. When you stand in front of something, I have to keep telling myself, don't draw what you think you know, draw what you see, and that will help me. So it will be a mix of in situ drawing and photograph. I might begin by going in with a darker grey. So I've got stage 1 down. It's a beginning, and I'm glad I've got some sketchbook work, some photographs, and I'm really glad that I did that charcoal drawing this morning. I mean, there's a way to go here, but what a nice thing to do, getting bigger. And this is very, very, oh gosh, what's the word? Loose. This is very loose. And I have to say, I do like having prompts. I just find that so much easier than abstract, complete abstract. What does it tell me? The challenging myself to make an abstract painting, I think has shown me that it's really tricky, and I think I'm a semi-abstract. I won't give up. I'll keep having, every now and then, I'll keep dropping in a go at being completely abstract. I think I'm a semi-abstract person. I know that I like to see something slightly recognisable in the painting. I've really enjoyed having a direction with this today. I'll continue with my sink. What I think I'll do, I'll bring up the frame and see how it looks in the frame. I'm so glad that I looked outside and thought, oh my God, it's hammering down. Am I going to go and get wet to get to the cabin? And I'm really glad I did. Really glad I did. Let me know if you're having a first attempt at abstract work, what your thoughts are on it. And if you're an abstract genius, any help and advice is more than welcome. Have a great week, everyone. Thank you for all the lovely messages, for subscribing. It's a lovely sharing process, and I'll see you next time. Have a great week, everyone. Bye for now.